Morning. How are you today? Today is the Valentine's Day, so I hope all of you are having a lovely day. And I hope that maybe you take advantage of this day and express your love to the ones who are nearby you, your loved ones. And today is our meditation Sunday, so I hope that you prepare yourself with hopefully a little bit more comfortable clothing or comfortable way of sitting so that you can have both body and mind present for the worship in meditation. And I believe we do have our wise word from our wise man, John Gong.
There's an uplifting quality in the evening air. It seems like something beyond compare. The good days are coming, the bad days are going. There's an uplifting quality in the evening air.
Thank you, John. Now let us take a moment to settle and consecrate ourselves, creating space within us and around us. More importantly, bringing our full consciousness and attention to where we are and what we are doing and why we are focused at this moment, this time in worship together. Let us bring ourselves, be open and ready for the inflow from the divine. Amen. Today, as I was sharing with you with the newsletter, I have been reflecting upon this essential and kind of classic question about what are the qualifications for the governors and leaders? What qualities do you seek to see in our leaders, politicians or not? What is the most respectful and valuable quality you might want to see and expect to see within your leader? Is it good looking? Is it eloquent speech? Is it expansive knowledge? Is it a good background with prestigious colleges and universities, degrees? Is it family connections? So and so is from wealthy or wealthy family? Or is there some inner quality that are we actually seeking and hoping to see among the leaders? And these are not new questions. These questions have been asked by humanity ever since we created society and system, and also created within the system positions, occupations, so that certain positions will be in the role of governing, ruling, managing others for the sake of the public. In China, there was a very famous philosopher, Confucius, and Confucius wanted to see 5 virtues in the leaders, and these are the 5 Chinese letters for that. I know that a lot of you do not read Chinese letters, so this first one is often translated as benevolence, but First one, it's benevolence is in its origin. It is a combination of two Latin words, bene and vela. It mean actually well wish or wishing well. This one here is not exactly just wishing well. This one here is more close to have sympathy and empathy together, and yet willing to help. So probably close to be a love that Jesus is teaching. And this letter here is often translated as righteous or righteousness, justice. The letter itself in Confucian tradition teaches us that this is a sense of actually sense of self-examination, in a way of finding or being able to acknowledge one's own fault and mistakes, and therefore being willing to take the shame. So this letter here itself has the upper part is actually a sheep, and lower part is actually self, the letter for self. So what it means, in a way, you're carrying a sheep. For what? For the sacrifice, of course, right? So bringing what is right, what is being righteous, being justice, it begins with acknowledging, being able to know what is not right within myself. Being able to not only acknowledge, but accept my own fault and my own dark side, and actually take that responsible for myself. And this letter here is often translated as either manner, etiquette. This letter here kind of has the tradition of actually, this is how you respect your ancestors. That's where it comes from. So that letter has within it the sense of humility and respect in a way that you are yielding. You're willing to yield it to others. So that's where this ancient Chinese concept or Confucian concept of manner comes in. So good manner, back in the days, or according to Confucius, is that you have a heart that you're willing to yield for others. And this letter here stands for either knowledge, knowing, intelligence, wisdom. And in Chinese, actually in this Chinese character, but in Confucian tradition, this letter stands for the virtue that is cultivated within, so that you are capable of distinguishing what is right and what is wrong. If you are familiar with Swedenborgian concept, it is very close to Swedenborg's rationality. The rationality is the ability to distinguish what is right and what is wrong within oneself. So sense of ability to distinguish. And the last letter stands for trust, belief, even faith sometimes. This letter itself is actually standing for word of human. So what it means is that trust means, or trust can be earned when a person has acted on what the person said. So meaning, this is the essence of Confucian philosophy, that if you know, you should be doing it. Your ability to know should be equal to your ability to act upon it. So these are 5 qualities that ancient Chinese philosopher Confucius was hoping to see among the leaders, but also actually among all people, all of us. Later, Confucian philosophers developed their philosophic way of understanding that emphasizing these five could be part of human nature. In a way, could be innate nature that we just need to discover them, or these are the virtues that we should cultivate and embody afterwards. So, what qualities do you believe are essential to be human? And what are the qualities that are truly essential to be leaders or to be in leading position? Well, let us take a moment and reflect upon it with the meditation, with music. Today we have Robert Carr join, and he's going to read the scriptures.
Good morning. Our first reading is from Genesis 41, verse 37 and forward. The proposal pleased Pharaoh and all his servants. Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find anyone else like this, one in whom is the Spirit of God?" So Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has shown you all this, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be over my house, and all my people shall order themselves as you command. Only with regard to the throne will I be greater than you." And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "See, I have set you over all the land of Egypt." Removing his signet ring from his hand, Pharaoh put it on Joseph's hand. He arrayed him in garments of fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. He had him ride in the chariot of his second in command, and they cried out in front of him, "Bow to the knee." Thus he set him over all the land of Egypt. Moreover, Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh, and without your consent no one shall lift up hand or foot in all the land of Egypt." Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zaphenath-Paneah, and he gave him Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, as his wife. Thus Joseph gained authority over the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went through all the lands of Egypt. During the 7 plenteous years, the earth produced abundantly. He gathered up all the food of the 7 years when there was plenty in the land of Egypt, and stored up food in the cities. He stored up in every city the food from the fields around it. So Joseph stored up grain in such abundance, like the sand of the sea, that he stopped measuring it. It was beyond measure. Our second reading is from Zechariah, chapter 10, verse 1 and forward. Ask rain from the Lord in the season of the spring rain, from the Lord who makes the storm clouds, who gives showers of rain to you, the vegetation in the fields to everyone. For the teraphim utter nonsense and give empty consolation. Therefore the people wander like sheep. They suffer for lack of a shepherd. My anger is hot against the shepherds, and I will punish the leaders. For the Lord of hosts cares for his flock, the house of Judah, and will make them like his proud war horse. Out of them shall come the cornerstone, out of them the tent peg, out of them the battle bow, out of them every commander. Together they shall be like warriors in battle, trampling the foe in the mud of the streets. They shall fight, for the Lord is with them, and they shall put to shame the riders on horses. I will strengthen the house of Judah, and I will save the house of Joseph. I will bring them back because I have compassion on them, and they shall be as though I had not rejected them. For I am the Lord their God, and will answer them. Then the people of Ephraim shall become like warriors, and their hearts shall be glad as with wine. Their children shall see it and rejoice. Their hearts shall exult in the Lord. I will signal for them and gather them in, for I have redeemed them, and they shall be as numerous as they were before. Though I scattered them among the nations, yet in far countries they shall remember me, and they shall rear their children and return. I will bring them home from the land of Egypt, and gather them from Assyria. I will bring them to the land of Gilead and to Lebanon, until there is no room for them. They shall pass through the sea of distress, and the waves of the sea shall be struck down, and all the depths of the Nile dried up. The pride of Assyria shall be laid low, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart. I will make them strong in the Lord, and they shall walk in his name, says the Lord. May the Lord's blessing be on our hearing of this.
Thank you, Robert. Today, we listen to the parts that Pharaoh is appointing Joseph as the prime minister of Egypt. And often we just read it and think, oh, this is so because God loves Joseph and so be it. It's good. But if you read the story from another angle, perhaps from the Pharaoh side, perhaps from Egyptian side, you may see this story is quite surprising, even shocking. So today I'd like to point out 3 things that perhaps we can learn from the Pharaoh, actually. One is that as the Pharaoh of Egypt, who is in charge of whole Egypt, actually who owns whole Egypt, yet he was sensitive and open enough to pay attention to his dreams and was willing to understand them instead of simply disregarding them as bad dreams. So Pharaoh had spiritual sensitivity, regardless of his physical and materialistic wealth and pleasure that he could have as Pharaoh of Egypt. This spiritual sensitivity led him to the desire to understand those particular dreams. And what he found afterward is that no one in Egypt could give him good interpretation. And then he was told that there is this Hebrew slave who is now prisoner could interpret the dreams. So here comes the Pharaoh's second nature and character. He had listening heart. He was willing to listen to this Hebrew slave prisoner. Not only he was willing to listen to Joseph, but also he was listening to Joseph without any prejudice, without any prejudgment. He actually listened. If you truly think about this activity we do as listening, I'm pretty sure you'll know that truly listening to somebody is not as easy as it sounds. That's why there is a book actually about art of listening. And I have been counseling so many couples in my past 21 years of parish ministry. And number one thing that I emphasize for all couples is to listen. So what is listening? Listening means you are truly willing to put aside your own thoughts, your own judgment for now, and you are doing your best to understand what the other people's saying. And hopefully, why. Pharaoh was not only willing to listen to Joseph, he was truly listening. And that ability enabled him to see that indeed God, presence of God, the Spirit of God was upon Joseph. And the third thing that's amazing from Pharaoh is that he was willing to delegate everything to this capable person. He was the Pharaoh of Egypt. He could simply have hired Joseph and used him as servant and take all the glory of doing good things for himself. He didn't do that. He lifted him up and gave him all the power necessary to do the job. And he stepped aside. For what? For the sake of all the people in Egypt. And also because he was able to acknowledge that Spirit of God is upon this person. I am hoping and wishing that we have leaders like this Pharaoh in Egypt long time ago. So again, three things: spiritual sensitivity, and two, listening heart, and three, willingness to delegate and step aside when it is necessary. That'd be quite amazing as the Pharaoh of Egypt. So let us take another moment to reflect with the music. At this time, let us simply reflect upon this ancient story that is presented to us in the Bible and see these qualities of Pharaoh. Well, if all these things are too much to remember all, I'd like to summarize today's my sharing with two qualities, virtues that we talked very often. One is sympathy, and the other one is empathy. I wish all humans have that, especially the leaders. Both sympathy and empathy are from Greek origin, Greek word sun, preposition son, is combined with pathos, meaning feeling. Son means with. So feeling with, or that is sympathy. So sympathy means somewhat that you are connecting to others and have the shared feeling or connects the feeling of others with yours. And empathy is, M is another Greek preposition. It actually is in in English. So that with pathos again. So in feeling or feeling in. So that's why empathy means you are now actually feeling how other person is feeling in your heart. So if we all acknowledge and agree that we are all the beings of feelings, it is very important to us to know that, because very often that's how we are, that it is more important how it feels to be true to me versus how it is actually true out there somewhere. So what I do makes feeling to others, and that feeling matters, and how I understand that feeling matters. And so sympathy is connecting to how others are feeling and sensing and being sensitive about it and understanding. And empathy goes even deeper, that you are actually willing to be vulnerable, to feel and share other people's pain or other feelings as yours. And one thing that Swedenborg shares with us is that our spirits, either we like it or not, are all connected. We're all connected spiritually. Therefore, what others feel influences us, no matter what. So let us cultivate and remember sympathy and empathy. Now, I would like to invite you with the meditation with Gong. And I'm going to sound the gong twice, probably only 4 times today. So each sound, simply let it come to you. And when it goes away, let it go. And have a hope that this sound wave helps you to wash away and get rid of things that you don't need in your mind. Now let us close our eyes and take a moment of a deep reflection or a deep prayer. Let us acknowledge that we do have feelings. And let us embrace all the feelings that we have within us. No judgment, no criticism. Positive ones, negative ones, just embrace them all. Because those are your feelings. And you have them because they're important for you. Let us acknowledge them and embrace them. Let us also acknowledge others have feelings as well. Let us take a moment of silence in reflection. Now, with mindfulness, let us take another moment to reflect on our blessings that God has bestowed upon us. And among all those blessings, what is it that I am willing to give back to God, back to community, back to the church? Let us take a moment.
Salvation, whom then shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life, of whom then shall I be afraid? To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. And though war should rise up against me, yet will I put my trust in him. One thing have I asked of the Lord, one thing I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. To only you, O Lord, you are all my desire. To behold the fair beauty of the Lord, and to seek him in his temple. For in the day of trouble he shall keep me safe in his shelter. He shall hide me in the secrecy of his dwelling, and set me high upon a rock. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul to only you, O Lord. You are all my desire.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord fill your heart with love from heaven and your mind with angelic wisdom and your body with all loving actions from now on forevermore. Amen.